Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're a first-time viewer, my name is Jeff Lanowski. Today is super exciting because I'm in Terre Haute, Indiana at Griffin Bike Park, and we are going to preview my brand new signature trail called AWOL. This place started about 5 years ago. I visited about 2 years ago, and I was so impressed with the level of trails and, more importantly, the community of riders and the family behind the park. Everybody was super cool. So now, as part of an ongoing trail expansion, they asked me if I wanted to help design a signature trail, and I jumped at the chance. Our first visit to the park was in February. Everything was super slick, overgrown. The weather was terrible. It took a ton of time to walk around and flag out this trail, but working with the Griffin family and Blake, one of the sons, we came up with an awesome corridor through this really unique terrain. Griffin Bike Park has approximately 20 miles of trail, and this new trail adds about 1.5 miles to that. And the first step for me was figuring out where my first 3 signature features would be on the trail. This is where the first signature feature is going to be. All right, section 2. So this place is super sweet as well. Section 3 is looking like it's going to be super cool. So now that the trail's almost completed, I'm going to walk you through the 10 wooden features on this trail, including my 3 signature ones, and show you what it takes to clean every single feature if you ever are lucky enough to come ride this trail. So let's dive into it, starting at feature number 1. The first feature is called Bombay Door, and it is a massive structure. This feature has a nice downhill pitch. It's about 3 bike lengths long. 1 or 2 cranks will get you right into the sweet spot. But if you want to send this thing deep, you can take it really far into the first of the 4 mega pump rollers. All right, here we go, feature 1. Make sure you put it in a slightly harder gear after that ramp. You kind of scale your drop in and then enjoy these super fun pump rollers. And that takes you into feature number 2. All right, so feature number 2 is actually my signature feature number 1, and it is called the Screaming Eagle because it gives you maximum airtime. This thing has about a 7.5 foot lip. It's gonna be a 4 foot step up, so it'll be super safe. You can catch some big air. It's crazy standing here at the bottom of this 7.5 foot booter with the huge step up behind it, that when we hiked all this stuff in the snow, that it actually came to fruition. You'll come up this giant hill, and then you'll be right here, and you'll drop down. And the trail used to go up and turn to the right. We're gonna add a really big step up right there. This thing is super fun. So basically for this one, you wanna start from the top of this hill, and if you coast in without too much braking, that should give you enough speed to get over the hump. And this is only the first signature feature on this trail, so we have 2 more signature features to go, 8 more in total, so let's go continue on and take a look. All right, behind me is feature number 3, and it's called Screaming Eagle 2, Return of the Screaming Eagle. This thing has a similar transition to the Screaming Eagle, but it's on a downhill, and it's a big step up out of this pit. So in order to get this one successfully, you need to start a little bit further back on the trail and choose the left option line, which puts you on this ridge, and it gives you a straighter shot so that you have all the downhill speed that you need to make this step up gap jump. But when you take that high line, you have a bunch of speed. The big thing is when you come down this ramp, compressing at the bottom and trying to keep your suspension packed down off the lip so you get a nice consistent flight. Stay loose, a little bit of a hip, and it'll put you right up on that top shelf, and then you continue down to feature number 4. Feature number 4, appropriately named Little Drop. Not much to think about here. Basically, if you want to get to this drop, you take the high line. If you want to go around, you take the low line. Just a nice 3 foot drop that breaks up the trail, and it's fun to hit. All right, so this next zone is called Romeo and Juliet. It's a 2-part feature. It starts with a 4 foot ladder bridge drop, and if you get good backside on that, it'll be just the right amount of speed to go through this gully, make a slight left-hand turn, and then it's a step up with about a bike length gap onto a ladder bridge, and that's also a left-hand hip, so you're gonna make sure you need to turn. And the end of this is really cool. It's a combination hybrid of ladder bridge and armored rock, and I've never seen anything like this before. This is a really fun feature, and when we were testing this thing out, I was even able to get it going backwards. All right, here's the next feature. This one is called the Canty Drop, and that's because there's nothing holding this thing up. It's basically a shortcut line for the go around. It allows you to skip that corner, medium-sized drop, only 3 feet, but you send it, and then it takes you into my favorite section, which is my second signature feature. So once this trail is totally finished, you'll be coming into this with some good speed. It's just a little hip to the left and then takes you into my favorite feature. So here we are at signature feature number 2, and the name of this one is a wall ride. When we were hiking around in February and I saw how tight this valley was going to be, and we wanted to go from this ridge to that ridge, I knew the only way around it was with a suspended curved wall ride. So this thing was super challenging to build. We had to haul all the lumber down to the bottom of this valley and construct it, but with a lot of hard work from everybody, it came out awesome. So this thing is super intimidating because you have about a 4-foot drop to the valley floor, but if you imagine this thing on flat ground, it makes it a lot less intimidating. My tips for hitting curved wall rides: when you start low, you typically finish high, and when you start high, you typically finish low. So on something like this where you're going over a valley and you want to make sure that you don't end up in it, you're going to want to start this one low and make sure that you finish high. Another thing is, the more speed you have within reason, it's going to help stick you to the wall. So don't go so fast that it wants to shoot you out the top, but hitting this thing with a decent amount of speed will give you more G-forces and help you stick to the wall a little bit better. Third tip: try to make sure that you're keeping your bike perpendicular to the riding surface. So that's going to mean you're going to lean over a little bit, but the more you can stay perpendicular to these boards, the more you're going to stick and the better exit speed you'll have to get out of here. All right, on to the next feature. So this next feature is called a hip. There's a pretty good natural chasm right there, so we figured we needed to get across it by making a really sweet hip jump. So come into it with good trail speed. The lip has some bank to it, and then you're going to want to hip to your right so that you go down this hill, and if you do it properly, you're going to be screaming for the next section of trail. Feature number 8 is called the cannon. Now, when we walked this area in February, I noticed this really big hill into a small one with a huge backside, and I knew that we needed to build some kind of jump here. So what I'm thinking here is to come down this hillside, cross the bottom, and then have a cannon log right here. Let's see if we can make it up this hill. Carry some pretty good speed, and then with this cannon log, we'll be able to jump pretty far down there. Coming down a steep hill into a lip could be a little funky. You might get bucked, so I figured an upsloped ladder bridge would be perfect because it's nice and predictable. If you want to go short, you can deck this thing. It's only about a 6-foot gap, but if you want to go really fast, bunny hop off the ladder bridge, catch backside on that hill, and really get some speed going into the next hill. All right, check this out. This is feature number 9. This is called Highboy, and at its highest point, you're probably 9 feet off the forest floor. If you decide to give this one a shot, my advice is close your eyes. Just kidding. Seriously, same advice that you'd give for any type of skinny. Look where you want to go, not where you don't want to go. It's only a couple feet wide, so it's pretty scary, but it takes you from one ridge to the next. If this was on the flat ground, a 2-foot ladder bridge would be no problem. When you elevate it this high, it's all mental. So win that mental battle, look straight ahead, look where you want to go, not in the ditch, and you'll make it across fine. And that's what you're going to need to do if you want to get to the final feature, which is my 3rd signature feature. So let's go check that one out. All right, here we are at the final feature, number 10, and my 3rd signature feature. This one's called Snafu. This is a step-on, step-off ladder bridge with a banked takeoff into a drop. So when we originally hiked this, what made this section unique was you had a high ridge into a low, long, flat one. And I knew that it would be perfect for some type of step-on, step-off feature. The idea is to come down this hillside, and it's a nice little mellow gully. And then we have a big tabletop across here, maybe 25 feet or so. So we're thinking dirt lip to ladder bridge step up. You'll come across here. As you go across, it'll get a little bit higher and it'll have some bank to it. If you take the inside line, it'll only be about 2 or 3 feet, so nice and safe and scalable. And then the outside line should be close to 5 feet. So if you really want to catch some air and send it down there, you'll be able to do that as well. Originally, we wanted to use a dirt lip onto the feature, but then we started to realize that this was always going to be kind of soft. So we ended up going with a full ladder bridge. It makes a run-in much more consistent. If you roll into this feature with trail speed, you step right up. All right, dropping. And then depending on how you want to send it off the end, you could either take the low line and make it a 3-foot drop, or if you go real high, you can easily turn this into an 8 or 9-foot drop.
That is awesome, man.
It works so good. One of the cool features is when you finish the loop, it brings you right back to the Bombay Door. and you could drop in and take another lap. So thanks for checking out the video. If you make it out to Griffin Bike Park, I hope you get to check out this trail, and I hope you enjoy it. It's time for me to take another lap. So until next time, get out there and be a boss.